I'm a very sensual person. He was concerned about our not matching drives before getting married. He promised me he would want sex 2 to 3 times a week. I've been keeping track. We've had sex a total of 18 times and we have been married almost a year. I'm so frustrated. I brought up an intimacy activity to try earlier today. We tried it. He didn't get into the mood at all. I'm so tired of this. I'm going to ask for a divorce soon, within a month or two. We have other issues, but in reality, I will put up with them if the sex is more regular. I can't stand this. I feel like ish for lack of sex being the reason I will be leaving him, but it's the reason I can't tell anyone. Some other things she's listed. He was supposed to get a couples counselor months ago, never did. Sent him a link with a list of people, nothing. I've talked a lot. The response is either placation or defensiveness and ignoring. Yeah, he can be sweet. He's not a bad person. We just aren't compatible. Somebody on the list gave her reasons to think very carefully about a divorce attorney. This is her reply. Number one, I do love him. However, the love is more platonic at this point. I care for his general well being, but not romantically at this point. He chased that away. I won't feel like I'm losing part of me. It will be a loss of the familiar. That's it. Number two, we communicated a lot about this. I'm a very direct and open person. He is not a person who can talk about these things. He will sometimes try to placate, but change only lasts a short while for him. Most of the time, he gets defensive and I get the silent treatment, or he just brings up something unrelated. Number three, he is open about what's going on in his life. He has some work plans he is ruminating on, no real end in sight, but for him, it's an exciting change. So the frustration is people not communicating back in a timely manner to get the process going. His work is his obsession. He consistently thinks about it, and that's really the main thing on his mind. Four, no, sex is average to below average at best. He used to make sure that I got off after sex, but the last 2 times I didn't get off, and he didn't even get off last time. I am open to anything sexually. He is not. Lingerie doesn't do much. He thinks my work outfits are sexier. We found recently he likes when I dress more e-girl style, but even that day I did that, no sex. He talks a lot, but no change happens. Started dating, it was important for me to wait until marriage for PIV, but we did other things regularly, enough where I was satisfied. When I brought up having sex before after we dated a while, he stated, we waited this long. We might as well wait for marriage. I knew it wasn't the same libido, but thought it would stay the same or increase once a week due to the of PIV. Responded, oh, okay, I understand. Maybe you should ask him why he chose you as a wife. Maybe he has a bad opinion about sex. Means his education. Some men think that women who are wife material haven't to be as sexual. But we've talked about it. He says he loves me as a person, finds me funny and attractive. He sees sex as a way of release, but that's it. I told him about the Madonna complex and we talked about it. Awareness of his issues bring no change. I was a little bit confused. I still don't know exactly what PIV is. I looked it up. They got a medical term and then they have something else dealing with verification. And I don't know what to tell you about that. It's a dub on that. But when it came to the Madonna complex, this was what I found. A psychoanalytic literature, a Madonna complex, also called a Madonna mistress complex, is the inability to maintain sexual arousal within a committed, loving relationship. First identified by Sigmund Freud. Under the rubric of psychic impotence, this psychological complex is said to develop in men who see women as either saintly Madonnas or debased prostitutes. Men with this complex desire a sexual partner who has been degraded while they cannot desire the respective partner. Freud wrote, quote, where such men love, they have no desire, and where they desire, they cannot love.
Let's go crazy!
That he has stress, but it's not enough to affect sex drive for most people. He only works 2 to 3 hours a day, mostly making phone calls and on the computer. Google's stuff for the future. That's it. I do foreplay. I try to find what he likes. All foreplay is focused on him. I put so much work into attempting to turn him on. Maybe you should help him about his stress, his gaming and alcohol problems first, and then your sex life. Yeah, we should just set up weekly appointments where I counsel my husband and he works through his emotions and substance abuse issues. While I'm at it, he can come to my lab and I'll run his blood work to test his T levels. Next, he can come to my fairy castle and I'll cast a spell to make his work better. Those fall under it's his job to work on issues in his life if he requires a counselor or a doctor. I'm not his mom. Even with that, I give so much of myself to his issues. I'm done. All right, now I'm going to say this. For the guys out there, don't let this be you. Don't decide to, rush or get into a marriage and, people, happen to say things and make promises and then you can't keep up your end of the bargain, once you just so happen to get married. Just don't do it. It's not even worth it. Don't just look at it as like, well, this is the only person I can seem to find. This is the only person that seems interested in me. I'm just going to sit up there and call it a day. Don't do it because you'll end up like this and you will end up in a marriage where both people are unhappy, especially you, with the choice that you decided to make. And then on the other end, you're going to have to deal with a wife that is unhappy and she's going to be looking for a divorce. As which was stated before, 70+% of the divorces that take place are by way of women. Women are the ones that normally want the divorces. The other portion of that comes by way of men. Now, when it deals with the woman in the situation, it's like, good lord, I'm not sure what happened there because she, in a sense, sort of knew what it was, but in a sense, didn't pay attention to the red flags at all. She knew that she has a certain type of sex drive, that she expects something. And this is the one thing I want to make guys pay attention to. She said something that was very, very important. She said, we have issues in a relationship, but if the sex was there, if it was just consistent, like she said before, it was subpar, average, whatever it is, if it was just there, she would be able to deal. She would be able to manage with the issues that they basically have going on, which means that she wouldn't have even have made this Reddit post, which means that she would not even be at the point of being so frustrated at this moment in time. But then again, at the end of the day, it's very hard to make women satisfied. Even if you technically give a woman, just per se, if you were to give a woman everything that she desires in the world so that she couldn't ask for anything else, a woman is still going to find a way to ask for something else. She's still going to find a way to be unhappy with something. So, it's in a sense impossible to 100% make a woman happy. But as a guy, you make it heavily impossible when you happen to do things like this and commit to actions such as marriage, such as a long relationship. And then when you get there, you decide to do this. But anyways, back to the woman. I don't know how it is that women can go past these types of red flags knowing what it is, but you're going off of a expectation, and then because you went off of that expectation, now you feel like the other person basically failed you when realistically you failed yourself because you initially expected something that wasn't necessarily there. She went through and she described a whole bunch of things. A lot of the stuff that she stated, I'm pretty sure while they were dating, these were things that would show up in and out, every so often. They would, revolve. They would gravitate around the relationship, just like a moon does around a planet, right? So she decided to forego the warning signs and she just directly went for it. And other things that she stated on the Reddit, she said that, she is of a decent age. She says that she is fairly attractive and, all these, other types of things. And my thing is, if you know that, then why did you settle down with this guy? Why did you opt to get married to this guy? You say, even at this point in time, you love him as on a platonic type level, which means that you're not in love with him anymore. Cool, fine, whatever. But when the question was posed, why did he make you his wife? She replied that he loves her, which means that even though they don't have that sexual thing, even though they don't have that intimacy. He genuinely loves her as a person, and he wants to, be with her. It's the person that he chose to, of course, settle down with. But like I said before, why do it? Irregardless of whatever he's saying, why decide to accept that proposal and then be in a marriage where you're unhappy because you're not getting the type of sex that you want, or how frequently or how often that you want it? It doesn't make any sense. This is a issue where both individuals failed each other. 100% both individuals are at fault, and both individuals failed each other. They might as well, in a sense, just get a divorce, make it directly a clean break, and move on from there. He can go on and focus about, the jobs and the different changes and movements that are being made there, and be excited about that. And she can go on and, live her life as a single woman, getting the type of sex that she wants, every single day, whenever that she can sit up there and get it. And, both people will be happy.